Bout's case. Let's talk to investigative journalist George Mapp. George is joining us live there in New Jersey. Thanks for being with us. Now, do you think the jurors will be able to ignore all the US media hype that's surrounded his case in the previous months?
Well, it's very hard to say. I wasn't able to be there today. I will be there tomorrow and the rest of the week. I spoke to Viktor Bout approximately 25 minutes ago. She was on a lunch break from the jury selection. But it's that's the big question. If he can get a fair trial and a fair jury, then I think he'll be absolutely innocent. But that's the big question. There's been so much media campaign smearing him for years, so it's very difficult.
Well, there are some who say that the whole case was drawn up against Bout by US intelligence. Now, if there's any credence to these allegations, what would be the motivation behind all of this?
Okay, yeah, they definitely were drawn up. He was, as Wayne Madsen said, he was renditioned from Thailand, not extradited. He was kidnapped illegally. His court was still pending in the Thai court case. In the court system when they snatched him. He would have been a free man on the 20th of November, and he was snatched by the DEA on the 16th of November, 4 days before his freedom, because he was found guilty twice. Found innocent twice in the Thai court system. Basically, Viktor Bout was very successful in the African continent. Everybody pulled out because it was extremely dangerous. A lot of civil wars going on. He was transporting everything from ostrich eggs, minerals, coltan, oil, and yes, arms, but legal arms. There's no laws that he broke. And he's not being... so basically, the reason is the CIA wanted to go back into the business, and, Viktor Bout had an ultimate monopoly, about 90% of the business in the African continent. And so that's basically
So he was, in effect, from what you gather, he was in the way. But what about the political aspects? We've had many analysts on earlier saying this isn't really about Bout himself. This is about the US and Russia.
Absolutely. I believe Daniel Estlin said that, and there's definitely some credence to that. This is a very powerful point where a U.S. Government can just snatch a Russian citizen and trap him in a DEA sting operation and bring him to the United States. What does it say for any citizen around the world that's not American? It doesn't set a good precedent for anybody. But in terms of Viktor Bout, it's a joke. The United States government was one of his biggest clients, according to Douglas Farah, who wrote a book about him. Now, Douglas Farah never met him. I met Viktor Bout face-to-face in the Thai court system. He's very intelligent. He's a linguist. He didn't have any, a distinguishable Russian accent. Highly intelligent. Douglas Farah never met him, wrote a book about him, but that's part of the propaganda and the smear campaign, Douglas Farah's book and Stephen Braun's book. And the term merchant of death, the name that they gave him, has been parroted by the media worldwide and still being parroted today. So he has an uphill battle to face because of the smear campaign against him, which is totally without merit.
Okay, let me just quickly ask you. You said a little earlier you'll be at the trial a little later this week. You've also, I know, been at the trials in Thailand. You said earlier you've also been in touch with his wife today. Clearly you have access to Viktor Bout's family, and indeed you've been following this case very closely. How is he dealing with his predicament at the moment?
Very, very well for someone in his situation. He's an extremely strong person. I think... a lot of people would have fallen apart. He's been, he's been in Thai prison for 2.5 years and was never charged for a crime.
Well, we know just very, very quickly, we haven't got a lot of time. We know that in the movie, of course, there was a movie based on him, supposedly based on him. The accused goes free. What do you reckon? Will the same happen to Bout just finally?
If he's able to get a fair trial by the U.S. government, then I think he'll absolutely be set free. There's no proof, or all the allegations are false. There's no evidence.
All right, George, we'll find out what happens over the next few days. No doubt we'll be talking to you once again live there in the US. Thank you very much, investigative journalist George Mapp.